just study more. That's all I'd be doing anyways, just reading, studying. So learning about that, just like retirement funds, whatever. Not saying to dive into it, but I want to learn what these terms mean so I can understand them.
Right.
A lot of the barrier is just understanding the language. But that's why I got like my dictionary, my etymology dictionary, and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just trying to figure out what these words and terms mean. So that's why I'm definitely encouraging you to continue to teach, on your channel with like a follow-up episode with a sequel to what you already been doing.
I just went live. Did you get a notification?
I got you right now. Hold on. Let me go on YouTube because give me 1 second. So YouTube, I'll show you. So I would only get a notification if my notification is turned on, but I'm clicking the notification. Now I don't see you. So let me go to subscription. You right here. Facts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see you. Now let me see if I could comment though. Hold on. All right. Yeah, I can. It's open now. So that's good. Right? Now the chat is open. So now I could comment. So now, like, people can interact with you.
Oh, okay. Damn, man, that's crazy, man.
Let me see. Did you get that chat?
No.
I say, yo.
Okay, yeah. Just popped up. All
right. So now you should be good then.
Oh, all right. That's what's up, man. Yeah. That's crazy, man. All this time, man. I could have been getting back mad feedback and shit. Like,
yeah.
All right, well, it'll catch whoever's. All right, brother. All right, my guy. I'm gonna build with you later, my G.
All right, fam.
Peace. Thank you for that, man. No doubt.
All right, peace, bro.
Peace. All right, man. Thank you for the brother Jay, man. Put me onto the information, man. Yeah. So if you were trying to leave comments before on any of my videos or any of my lives, I just came to the realization that I had my videos, like I had it where it was open for everyone, like for children and all of that. So I was thinking that would like reach a broader audience, but it was actually the opposite. That kind of put me in a certain section where, you know what I mean, maybe and it said where people couldn't. He was saying where people couldn't comment on the videos because, you know, if it's open for kids, then they don't allow kids to comment and so forth. So I was like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? So anyway, so now y'all able to comment, you know what I'm saying? Y'all able to, you know, check it out and, you know, tune in and everything like that. So, you know, we on and popping from here, you know what I mean? You know, if you like to reach out to me, you see the videos I'll be doing, different topics I'll be dropping, you know, different topics I build on. If y'all interested in any of these topics, you know, hit me up, man. You know what I'm saying? Reach out to me. You know, we could definitely add on. You know, it's what we do here at the Universal Temple for the Sun, Planet, Moon, and Stars. You know, we nation build, we politic. You know what I mean? We are showing and proving how to, you know, interact internationally. You know, as I say, I'm willing to build with other nations, build with other people, build with other, you know, people that are into the science of, you know, nation building. And when I say nation building, what do I mean? You know what I mean? I mean, like, okay, if there's nations that are already, you know, established and there's other aspects of that establishment that can add on to that nation, then we'll add on with those other aspects of establishment. Because if not, then what are we doing? You know, we're staying stagnated or comfortable in our present condition. And everything can always improve. You know what I mean? As we, you know, as the gods always say, you know, life is about constant elevation. So, you know, if it's about constant elevation, then we have to keep on elevating. You know what I mean? Like consistently. It's never a point where we stop elevating. It's never a point where we're like, oh, well, we're good. Ain't nothing else we need to do, and everything is good. What you talking about? Nah, because there's always more work to do. Like the brother just told me, um, he had seen me on Sinetta TV, and I was like, yeah, that's what's up. That's peace. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, okay, so through that venue, you could reach other people. You know what I mean? And I said, yo, that's what's up. But then he was also telling me that he wasn't able to comment on my things and check out. So I'm like, wow, what's going on with that? So the brother just helped me go into the settings and correct that. So thank you on that, man. You know what I mean? Word is bond. That was definitely a big help because I didn't understand, you know, that aspect of it. You know what I mean? I actually recently set up this YouTube channel, so I wasn't really familiar with all of that. You know what I mean? So that was definitely a big help. Once again, peace and thanks to the brother for that. You know? All right, so what we gonna go into today? Let's add on. We can go into some definitions. Let's look up some words. Nation. What is a nation? A large body of people united by common descent, history, culture, or language, inhabiting a particular country or territory. So I put up a jewel the other day on Facebook, and I said, 5% nationality. What is 5% of nationality? And I put a god or earth having origins, a god and earth of Allah's nation having origins in the poor part of the planet Earth, also known as the wilderness North America. So we are born here in North America. So we have origins here in this land. Is this land where everybody on the planet originates from? No. Is this where we may have ultimately descended from? Not necessarily. Is it where we presently, for like the past 400 years, have been? Yes. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I would say that we do have origins in this land. And I would also say, and because I know that we had origins in this land before any European slave trade and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? So we can't just get caught up in, you know, their definitions, or more so, rather, I say their classifications. So let me pull this up for you real fast while we're dealing on the topic of nationality, and more so, I'm going to get into race. I want to share this information right here. Is dealing with the SF 181 form. The SF 181 form. Now this form is actually what they use to classify people as far as race and ethnicity. It's called the standard form. One second, pardon me. It's called the ethnicity and race. Yeah, so y'all can't see. I can't pull it up. I can't screen share on YouTube, in which they should allow you to do. But anyway. All right, so I'll go back real fast. Pardon me. I can't screen share on here. All right, so anyway, so I'll just read it off for y'all. So on this SF 181 form, they explain how different. Oh man. All right, ethnicity and race. All right. Now, Pete, says there's a Privacy Act statement. It says ethnicity and race information is required under authority of 42 USC section 2000E-16 and in compliance with the Office of Management and Budgets 1997 revision of the standards for classification of federal data on race and ethnicity. Now, peep this. This is very important. It says providing this information is voluntary and has no impact on your employment status. Pause. That's a lie because a lot of employers are what you call equal opportunity employers. And if they are, then that means that they have to have a certain amount of or equal amount of different ethnicities or races that they hire. So how could this not have a impact on your employment status? So like if you put down that you're a Black or African American and they have enough of Black or African American people on the job, then they don't have to accept you because they filled their quota, you know what I mean, so to speak. So that's not accurate. It says, so anyway, it says providing this information is voluntary and has no impact on your employment status. But in the instance of missing information, check this out. An instance of missing information, like if you don't put down what your ethnicity is, your employing agency will attempt to identify your race and ethnicity by visual observation, which means that they can simply look at you and determine your race or ethnicity, or what they think your race or ethnicity is. See what I'm saying? So, like I was saying, when it comes to the job market, right, so-called Black people or African Americans, we wondering why is it so hard for us to get jobs in the job market? Well, did you know that when they have such things as equal opportunity employers, and you put down something such as, Black or African American, you know what I'm saying, you're putting yourself in a status that's non-descendable, and furthermore, it puts you in a bad position because, like I said, once they have enough Blacks or African Americans, they don't have to hire all the Blacks or African Americans because they filled their quota. So when they says this has no impact on your employment status, that's obviously not accurate. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I'm gonna read these. This right here on the bottom section of this form, this SF-181 form. Y'all can look it up. It has categories, has racial categories. Check as many as apply. Definitions of category. So now they have American Indian or Alaska Native. They have Asian. They have Black or African American. They have Native Hawaiian or Pacific Islander, and they have white. Now I'm going to read American Indian first. Then I'm going to read Asian. I'm going to skip over Black, and I'm doing this in a certain order just to let you understand something. So let's just get these out the way, right? American Indian or Alaska Native. It says a person having, now peep these words, y'all, very important. A person having origins in any of the original peoples in North America, in North, South, including Central America, and who maintain tribal affiliations or community attachment. Asian, a person having origins in any of the original peoples. Notice all these people are being referred to as original peoples. I thought Black people was the original peoples. The Black man is the original man, right? Okay, so a person having origins in any of the original peoples of the Far East, Southeast Asia, or the Indian subcontinent, including, for example, Cambodia, China, India, Japan, Korea, Malaysia, Pakistan, the Philippine Islands, Thailand, and Vietnam. I'm going to skip over Black real fast. Native Hawaiian or other Pacific Islander. It says a person having origins in any of the original peoples of Hawaii, Guam, Samoa, or Pacific Islands. Now, they have white. It says a person having origins in any of the original peoples. White is considered original peoples. And it says original peoples of Europe, the Middle East, or North Africa. So now, when it pertains to North Africa, this is where you get like a lot of Moors, not a lot of Moors, but some Moors that refer to themselves as white or freed white persons. The term white, as according to this SF 181 form, it says having origins in any of the original peoples of Europe, Middle East, or Africa. Now, my understanding is that when they refer to themselves, they would say they have origins in North Africa, and that would be Morocco. As the Moors say they're descendants of Morocco. Morocco was in North Africa. Also the people of that region were known as the Berbers, the ancient Berbers. So this is why they some of them use that term white to refer themselves as North African or of the ancient Berbers and so forth, or the Moroccans of Morocco. So like I say, so even whites are considered original peoples. So now when it comes to the term black, last but not least, it says having origins in any of the racial black groups of Africa. Notice it does not say having origins in any of the original peoples, as if Africans are not original peoples, and even as if so-called black people are not original peoples, and we don't have origins in any original peoples. So it says a person having origins in any of the racial black groups of Africa. First of all, what is a racial black group? You know what I'm saying? Now, commonly we would say, okay, well, it's a race. It's a racial black group, a group of black people that identify as a particular race. And a race is defined as, physical and social features and aspects that define a group of people. So they're saying any of the racial black groups of Africa. So is that to say that, okay, I could take a boat or hop off a boat or land in a plane anywhere in Africa and say, hey, you guys, the white man in America says that I have origins in any of the racial black groups of Africa. So hey, I'm gonna pick any of you guys. Matter of fact, I like you this racial group. I'm part of you guys. You guys got to accept me because white man says that I have origins in any of the racial black groups of Africa. They're gonna look at you like, nigga, you better hop your ass on that boat or that plane and take your ass back to that white man who told you that dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? Because that don't make no sense to them. Africans don't refer to themselves as black or these type of terms. They refer to themselves as and also they don't even refer to themselves as African, quote unquote, per se. Different places in the continent of Africa, they refer to themselves by their homeland or their tribal associations. You know what I'm saying? So just like it says here, like for American Indian or Alaskan Native, it says, and who maintain tribal affiliations or community attachment. So in Africa, they have tribal affiliations and community attachments. So they refer to themselves as Liberian. If they're from Liberia, they are Liberian. If they are from Nigeria, they're Nigerian. If they're from, Zimbabwe, they're Zimbabwean, you know what I mean? Or whatever case may be. You know what I mean? So, and also their tribal associations or tribal affiliations, they would refer to themselves due to their tribe. Like they'd be like, I'm from the Akan tribe. I'm from the Twa people. There's an ancient tribe known as the Twa people. You have people known as the Fulani. You know what I mean? The Wolof. You know what I mean? There are different tribal associations and different peoples. You know what I'm saying? So that's how they refer to themselves as. They don't necessarily use these terms that they use, like how they're using here, these racial categories. They don't use those terminologies. So if you were to, like I say, hop off a boat or a plane anywhere in Africa, you can't just pick any racial black group and say, hey, I'm a part of you guys. I have origins in you guys. And the reasons why they would give such a misclassified definition is because they don't even know technically where we would come from in Africa. And like I was saying before, technically, we don't all come from Africa, quote unquote. You know what I mean? because like I say, even before the slave trade, the European slave trade or the Arab slave trade, there was already so-called black people here in the Americas. You know what I'm saying? So, and we was already culturally diffusing many nations all over the planet. So when they come with their categorizing of us and trying to put us in these boxes, check one with that applies. You know what I'm saying? This is a misnomer. And like I said, everybody else on this list has origins in a said group of people, except for the so-called Black or African American. So y'all don't see something funny about that? You know what I'm saying? Something strange about that? You know what I mean? That would seem real strange to me, because the reality is that Black or African American, like for example, we know there's no place called Black land. There's no place called Africa America. You look on the map. Show me where Africa America is on the map. I could show you where North South America is, Central America. I could show you where where the so-called Far East is, where the Southeast Asia, India, Philippines, Pakistan, Korea, Japan. I can show you where Guam, Hawaii, Samoa, Pacific Islands. I can show you where all these places. I can show you where Europe, Middle East, North Africa is. I can show you where all these places are. Show me where Black land is. Show me where there's a place on the map called Africa America. Show me. Where does that exist? Where is that? Where is Africa America? See what I'm saying? So this is why we won't have origins in any original peoples that pertain to a particular land. They just give you a broad explanation and say, oh, you have origins in any of the racial Black groups of Africa, which will leave you lost in a sea of racial Black groups to choose from. And the matter of you being accepted. And also too, like, I mean, come on, like I've heard about something they got where they got Black people going back to Africa, where there's certain African chiefs that have made some kind of deals to accept, people back. Like they Indian chiefs, they said they apologize for slavery, and they accept certain people to come back and live in Africa and certain lands and all of that. And I'm like, I'm kind of cautious about that, because I'm like, yeah, that sounds nice, but they might get back over there and get fucking re-enslaved. You know what I'm saying? So like, what's really going on with that project? You know what I'm saying? If it was really successful, how come people ain't talking about it? Like, yo, we back in the motherland. We living good. We being treated how we supposed to be. Everything is good. We living a heavenly life over here, and everything is good. Black people, y'all need to come. Like, what's going on with that? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. So the science is, man, we got to build where we at right now. You know what I'm saying? As far as before we try to go back to Africa and all of this other stuff, you know what I'm saying? We gotta get ourselves at least stable enough or able enough to do so. You know what I'm saying? Because it sounds good as a theory, like, yeah, we need to go back to Africa. Like, okay, that's cool, but how are we gonna do that? And can we just pop up anywhere and all of these racial Black groups supposed to accept us? Like, that's the part I'm trying to figure out. You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody talk to me about that. So yeah. So that's a real issue to look into, because we accept a lot of things that we're told, but we don't a lot of times we don't really look into these things for ourselves and see, okay, well, what's the truth of this matter? Now, some people might get upset and they want to argue the fact of, yo, what you talk about, we ain't Black, and what you mean, and Listen, let me break this down for the 1,000th time. Before Columbus. The brother Jay said before Columbus. Yeah, actual facts. When they asked us our ethnicity, what should we put down? Other. You could put other, you know what I'm saying? You could put other and then check in, and then, sometimes it puts other and then they have like a little line. Well, technically on this form, they don't have that. But if like on you say, for example, on your job application, if they have other, you know what I'm saying? Or also too, like, understanding contracts, so you have the right to cross something out and write in the correction above that line, initial and date it. You know what I'm saying? You make a mistake on your forms or something, like, oh, cross that out, initial and date it. You know what I'm saying? So when it says Black or African American, cross that shit out, put American national, or non-citizen American national, or non-resident uh, alien national, you know what I'm saying? Or non-resident alien, something like that, you know what I mean? Stating the fact that you're not a citizen within the jurisdiction, because all of this is about jurisdiction as well, you know what I'm saying? These census and all of this type of stuff, they want to see if you're labeling yourself under their identifications, if you're classifying yourself the way they want you to classify yourself. So the reality is that you have the power to classify yourself how you choose to classify yourself. So a lot of people, they'll fill this form out and send it into, whomever needs to be sent into, to correct their status or the information of who they, how they define themselves. You know what I mean? So a big trick, they hit us with was telling us that we're Black and they're white, when we're actually white and they're Black, not in complexion, but in status. Because we got to understand that all of these here are status. These are statuses. You know what I mean? These are all different degrees of status. So everybody else that has origins in any of the original peoples of these different lands, they have a status of nationality. They have an actual nation that they say they belong to. Black people, so-called Black people or African American, don't have a nation that they could, according to this form. And according to the fact that we've been signing these forms and checking off these forms and saying that we are these definitions, then we don't have any nation that we say we belong to. We only have a race. And if you are a race of people with no nationality, you are considered nationless and stateless. And when you're a stateless people, you can be considered as like refugees, and you could be taken as prisoners of war. So technically, how we be talking about, we behind enemy lines and all of that shit. Yeah, technically, we so-called Black people are prisoners of war. We are still prisoners of war, of a historical war that's been taking place. And we're still here in this land held captive. They say, oh, well, you have a right to leave. You could get a passport. You could get citizen in another country. You could do this. You could do that. You could da, 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 da. Yeah, you can. You can do that. You could expatriate yourself. You can do a whole lot of stuff. But for one, a lot of people are not knowledgeable of this. And also, two, they, like how Morpheus said in The Matrix, people are so hopelessly dependent upon the system that they will actually, they will fight to defend it. So, you try to tell people, well, we not Black, we not Negro, color or Black, we're not African American. We need to define ourselves a nationality. We want to be lazy and we want to stick with Black or African American. What you mean we not Black? Man, we Black, man. What you talking about, man? Man, we Black, man. We Black. And we just want to use a simple term or a simple way to define ourselves. And it's like, nah, brothers and sisters, that's not what it is. Now, let me put y'all on to something. In my declaration for nationality and race for Lord Messiah Allah El Nation, I stated, we the people for Lord Messiah Allah El Nation are a melanic race of indigenous peoples by way of jus soli and jus sanguis, the rights of the blood, rights of the land, having our own origins and the original peoples of North, Central, and South America, otherwise known as Native Americans, Moorish Americans, also Aboriginal Americans. And I'm gonna change that term Aboriginal to Indigenous Americans, because the term Aboriginal can be referred to the Aborigines or the original peoples of Australia, and I'm not Australian, you know what I'm saying? So I don't want that to be misinterpreted. But also Aboriginal, the word ab means from, and original means origin. So Aboriginal means from the origin or of the origin, you know what I mean? So I said, we are not Negro, Black, colored, or African American. Those terms are misnomers and makes us non-descendable as a people. Thus, we do not subscribe to any of these terminologies to define or identify our nationals, nation, or temple members. We have a nationality. So the term Melanic means referring to having, causing, or affected by melanism. And melanism is, having very dark, very black, or very dark pigmentation, hair, skin, eyes, you know what I mean? So basically it's dealing with the melanin. So the term melanic is giving us a social and biophysical identification based upon our melanin, you know what I mean? Based upon the melanin, because the melanin is how we define ourselves. So we are a melanic race of people, not a black race, because technically the term black, now, like I say, let me rightly divide things. We got to understand that there are different dictionaries, right? There are different dictionaries for different fields of language. So, for example, you have medical dictionaries for medical language. You have legal dictionaries for legal language. You have scientific dictionaries for scientific language. You have common dictionaries for common language. You know what I mean? Even Bibles have glossaries with definitions for religious terminologies. So there are different, and understanding in contract law, when you draw up a contract, you have a right to have a section of definitions where you define your own terms. So, for example, I defined in my declaration how, what the term melanic means, and how this is applying to my nation and how we define ourselves. So that would be my term. That would be my definition. My definition of terms. You know what I'm saying? As to how I'm using that. And if I was to say, okay, that's for purposes of this declaration, the term Aboriginal shall mean anyone having origins in the land that they inhabit, such as the autochthon. We are known as the autochthon, meaning people that that have origins in the land that they inhabited, the earliest people to inhabit a particular region. You know what I mean? The autochtons, the original people of that land. And it also, another definition of autochthon means the people who sprung from the land in which they inhabit. So in other words, you know how we teach that, we know that man came from the earth. So man would be an autochthon, meaning a man that a species that spun or was born from the very land that they inhabit. You know what I'm saying? So we got to understand these different things. So I'm saying, so we got to know how to rightly divide things. So for example, if you say in black scientifically, I'm with you, because black scientifically means the origin of color, because we know that a color, in order for you to see color, like right now, if I turn off all the lights in here, right, it's pitch black, right? You can't see any colors, right? But then when I turn on the light, you'd be like, oh, snap. You see the poster in the back? It has he's wearing a blue shirt with a gray and blue colored tie, There's a blue. There's a yellow flag above his head, which is the universal flag for the for Lord Messiah Allah El Nation. You know what I'm saying? And you can see the yellow flag, you can see the different colors and so forth, right? So, but with no light being reflected, you can't see any colors. But once the light reflects off your cornea, off your retina, now you can see different vibrations of darkness, which we interpret as light. So the reality is that black is the origin of all color, because light has to be reflected in order for there to be in order for you to see color. So, and just like in the scripture it says, before there was light, there was what? Darkness. So, and they say, so-called God said, let there be light, right? So before that happened, right, so-called God must have been in all blackness. In fact, so-called God was the blackness itself. So technically, that which we call God, Allah, Jehovah, Yah, whatever, is blackness. Blackness. Ness meaning the expansion of black. The universe, the whole universe is blackness, an expansion of black consciousness. That's simply what the universe is. The universe is an expansion of black consciousness. You know what I'm saying? So if we say in black in that term, if we say in black like the depths of the sea in which man came from, the soils of the earth in which man came from, which solidifies the body, that's correct. If you're saying black such as the dominant gene of the original black man, which is the dominant gene that brought forth all other genes, that's correct. If you're saying black as in the plasma of the universe, or what they call melanin or tyrosine in the universe, cosmic energy, stardust, if you will, you know what I mean? Then yeah, I'm with you on that. You know what I mean? But if you're saying black in the legal terminology, black in legal terminology, going into the legal dictionary now, and legal terminology applies in legal arenas, such as courtrooms. So, when they be mistreating you in the courtroom, you be saying, yo, you doing this because I'm black. You got to be careful with that. Technically, yes, you are right. They are mistreating you because you are very melanic. You have a very dark pigmentation or complexion. I don't like the word pigmentation because I'm not a pig man, but you have a very dark complexion. Yes. The epidermis level of your skin is very dark. Yes. And they are mistreating you because of that. But when you say you're doing this because I'm black, you're now placing yourself in a racial category. And that racial category, as I just explained, makes you non-descendable as a people. Meaning when you say that you're black, you don't connect to any people, which means you don't have a nation. And if you don't have a nation of people that represent you or that you represent in that courtroom, then you are there alone. You are an individual versus them as a nation. You are an individual versus them as an established government. You are an individual versus them collectively. You know what I'm saying? All of them have taken oaths to uphold the Constitution. So when they talk about we the people, that's not talking about you. You know what I'm saying? You know how we be getting confused. We be like, yo, we the people. But we the people. We have the right to that. When they say we the people, they're talking about all the members of the Bar Association and all the members who have the Bar Association is the British, what is it called? The British administration for some shit. Whatever. I'll look that shit up. But anyway, the Bar Association, that's the association for lawyers or whatever. Basically, that's the fraternity that they all sign up in and all of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Basically, the Bar Association. So, now let's build on that for a little minute too. And I'm gonna get into that, right? How, due to the fact that the lawyers are usually employed by the Bar Association, and the judge is employed, or the prosecutor, your prosecuting attorney that's trying to go against you or bring a charge against you, they're usually employed by the bar, and the judge is employed by the bar. So that makes that a conflict of interest. Y'all both on the same team. So I don't have a fair chance at real justice in this situation because I got two people on the same side going against me. And the judge, you're supposed to be an impartial determiner of the facts. You're not supposed to pick a side. But if y'all both working for the same team, then y'all obviously by default are on the same side. So that creates a conflict of interest. That creates a conflict in the matter of my interest. You know what I'm saying? Or a conflict in both of their interests because they have the same interests. So I demand this case be dismissed due to a conflict of interest. Well, you can't just say it. You need to file the proper motion. Okay, well, I will do that right after we adjourn this court case. Yes. Thank you. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? So like I said, you're in there as an individual versus them as a collective. You have to declare a nationality so that you can now become of the collective body. Now you have a collective body and more so a political body that can represent you in legal affairs. You know what I mean? Because if not, then you're in there as an individual. They're going to ask you what's your name. Once you say your name, they got personal jurisdiction over you. Once you state where you live, they got territorial jurisdiction. And once you start talking about what happened, they got subject matter jurisdiction. So now they got all these jurisdictions over you. And whatever you say really is in their hands. And it's up to them to make the decision. You have no wins. You know what I'm saying? You have no wins. You're doing this because I'm black. Now, when you say that, the term black to them means that you're in the status of being what's called civil liter mortuus, dead in the eyes of the law. They can't even look at you. They can't even hear what you're saying. What you say to them is really of no consequence because you have no legal standing before them. You have no nation. You have no nationality. You have no laws or no international laws that protect you as a nation. So you're an individual. You're a stateless individual. And more so, they also going to ask you, are you employed within the state of so-and-so, whatever state you in? And once you say, yeah, I work at da-da-da-da, thinking that's going to gain you points, no, that just gave them more jurisdiction over you. Because once you're employed within the state, you're contracted with the state through the social security number. And now they got further jurisdiction over you. You know what I mean? Because you're contracted to do labor or be an indentured servant to the state. See what I'm saying? So this is why we got to contract ourselves out of all of these contracts. We've been contracted into slavery, and we got to contract out of the bondage. You know, when people be on parole and they be like, yo, man, I'm still on parole, man, I'm waiting to get off these papers. Yeah, these papers, the paperwork is what they got us contracted to be stuck in slavery through the paperwork. So we got to start understanding contract law, how to write contracts, how to create our own contracts, to create our own stipulations, and then understand presentment and representments. There may have been a presentment, but you can also represent or counterclaim that presentment. You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't contest or challenge anything, then what they say is going to stand. You have to challenge what they say. If you don't have any nationality, a national stance, it's hard to challenge anything because they consider you a ward of the state. Your state property. You got an ID in your pocket, your state property. You got a job, you're using Social Security, your state property. Sorry to say it like that, but that's the reality. So what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? Start contracting yourself out of the contracts we've contracted into. And before I go into a whole nother hour-long video on that, I'll just refer you to my video. You can go and check out. It's called adhesion contracts. It's called go on my channel and type in adhesion contracts. And you'll get all the info you need to on that matter and how to create counterclaims or how to rescind, how to make counterclaims to prior contracts and how to rescind prior contracts, meaning you're going to rescind it, meaning you're going to denounce it. You're going to void yourself out of it, contract out of it. You know what I'm saying? And give yourself a free, clean slate to contract unlimitedly how you have the power to do. On that note, I'm going to say peace, y'all. You know what I'm saying? And tune in next time. Like I said before, thanks to the brother Jay for helping me, unblock my subscribers or open up my chat room to the subscribers. And now you can get the notifications and you can, interact with me in the chat and so forth. And I'll get back to you, you know what I'm saying? If it's some information that you want to know and you want to add on, hit me up. You know what I mean? So on that note, y'all, I'm going to say peace, y'all. And, you know what I mean? One love.